Welcome to The Shift Show with Adriana Bucci. Join me every week to learn all about narcissistic abuse recovery, healing from physical and emotional pain after the abuse, and everything else to do with toxic people and how they affect your physical, emotional, and mental health. And no, you are not the crazy one. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Let's get right to it. Welcome back to The Shift Show. In today's podcast episode, we're going to discuss a topic that affects many survivors of narcissistic abuse, and that is why it is so difficult to get others to believe you when you actually are brave enough to speak up about the abuse that you have experienced at the hands of this person. And this can be an incredibly isolating and frustrating experience, but it is very important to understand why this happens and how you can move forward because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people believe or don't believe. What matters is you focusing on yourself and your healing journey. So let's jump right in. So, as everybody knows, narcissists are super skilled at manipulation and control, and when they abuse their targets, what you have to understand is they don't abuse everybody. They do not treat people equally. They only have a very small number of select targets that they abuse. It's usually the people closest to them. So, their significant other, their own children, it could be someone at work, whoever. But what you have to understand is that the narcissist has carefully chosen their target because, they are who they're targeting. This is the person that they're getting supply from at the end of the day. And when they only target a select few people, the narcissist can also discredit the victim's claims of abuse to other people. So, they're super nice to everybody else. And, if you talk to somebody and tell them, hey, this person did this to me, they might say something like, oh, I can't imagine that. I can't picture this person ever saying or doing that or whatever. And this is literally done on purpose by the narcissist. They're the ones playing puppet master here. And, they might even start convincing you as the target that you're the abusive one, which further isolates and gaslights you at the end of the day. And the other thing to understand is that they treat most people very well. Okay. They know what they're doing. They might come across as super charming, charismatic, and super kind to other people. And people fall for the bullshit at the end of the day. Like, they have no reason to believe something different about this person. And this makes it very, very difficult for those people to believe that this person who is the narcissist is even capable of abuse. So, when a target of the abuse speaks up, they're often met with disbelief, confusion, even sometimes hostility from people who have never actually witnessed the narcissist's darker side. And that is just an indication that those people have absolutely drank the Kool-Aid and they are just, they don't care about you at the end of the day. Okay? What you need to understand is that like the most basic respect thing that somebody could do for you when you're talking about the abuse that you suffered at the hands of this person is to believe you rather than arguing with you. Okay? And if someone's not even capable of giving you that, that is not someone who is your person at the end of the day. And that's what makes this so isolating and so confusing for the person who is dealing with the abuse. The other thing to understand is that narcissists surround themselves with people who enable their behavior. Okay. So they do hang out with a lot of enablers and flying monkeys or people who are afraid. Okay. So people who are afraid of speaking out against the narcissist for fear of becoming a target themselves. At the end of the day, flying monkeys, enablers, and cowards are not your people. Okay. And I'll briefly explain what a flying monkey is. This is somebody who pretty much does the narcissist's dirty work. So they might be sent by the narcissist to get information from you, tell secrets about yourself so that they can report back to the narcissist. They're not your people at the end of the day. They do not have your back. They're not anybody who you need to be talking to. And the same thing with enablers. Enablers are people who just enable the narcissist's behavior. They're cowards. They're cowards at the end of the day, literally. They just do not want to become targets themselves of this person's abuse. And these people are dumb. Okay? So I'm just going to be straight up. Like these are just not your people. They're not worth having in your life. They suck, okay? And this makes it even more challenging for the target or the victim of the abuse to find any support or validation from other people. And it can be extremely painful and isolating to feel like nobody believes you or understands what you are going through. And that is part of the abuse that keeps you in that bamboozled state that, it's easier to be under the narcissist's control when you are bamboozled, confused, filled with fear, shame, guilt, all these mixed emotions that narcissists purposely induce within their targets in order to gain supply. So, what's really important to remember is that if you do tell somebody about the abuse you've been through, like I said earlier, the most basic primitive sign of respect that they can offer you is to just believe you, okay? Instead of arguing with you or challenging you or disagreeing with you or saying, "Oh, I could never picture this, blah blah blah." Okay, well, of course you can't picture it because you weren't there, all right? If someone's unable or unwilling to at least give you the benefit of the doubt, you, the person who is talking to them, versus they're automatically giving the narcissist the benefit of the doubt, like, that is a clear sign that this is not your person, this is not someone that you need in your life, and what's important to understand is that enablers are just as toxic as narcissists, and again, you do not need them in your life, and obviously, this might feel extremely isolating because maybe you only know these people, but it's better to be on your own and figuring things out for yourself so that eventually you can find who your people are and who actually has your back versus being surrounded by people who are committed to treating you like shit at the end of the day. So, what you have to understand with enablers is they care more about the narcissist's narrative than what you have been through at the hands of this person. And that's an indication that you should not trust or confide in this person ever, okay? Even if they start being nice one day, just, do not trust this person. All of this is further proof that narcissists are super calculating and they know exactly what they're doing. There's so many people online who say that, like, "Oh, they don't know what they're doing, blah blah blah." Yes, they freaking do, okay? They know exactly what they're doing. The fact that they treat certain people really well and their targets not so well and only behind closed doors is very much proof that they know exactly what they're doing. They're not suffering from some kind of mental disorder where they go into a weird blacked out trance state and, when they're abusing you and they have no idea that they're doing any of that. No, they fucking know. Okay. You have to understand that they absolutely know what they're doing. And they're just very skilled at manipulating other people in order to maintain their sense of power and control. And they obviously do this at the expense of their target's emotional and mental health, which is not worth it at the end of the day. All you can look forward to in a relationship with a narcissist is more damage done to your emotional and mental health. That's literally all it's going to be about because they just want to get supply from you at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It can be extremely lonely and challenging to deal with a narcissist and see how few people truly have your back. It is horrendous to come to this conclusion and to realize that, okay, wow, these people don't actually care about me. But what's important to remember is that you are absolutely not alone. There are communities out there of survivors who understand what you're going through. And I run one myself, so I will put the link in the description for my community membership. It's filled with amazing survivors of narcissistic abuse from all over the world who completely understand what you're going through and they can offer support, validation, and I also have my amazing resources in the membership as well. You can access my courses, resources, and attend live events each and every month, and you do not have to go through this alone. This is exactly why I created the community because, it's so hard to go through this on your own, especially when you don't have a good support system. And especially when, everyone around you is gaslighting you and telling you, "Oh, no, this person's not abusive. What are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah." At the end of the day, you know exactly what you went through, and you do not need those other people's validation in order to start your healing journey. And that is exactly what my community offers. And again, you really do not have to go through this alone. The link to join is in the description. It is super affordable. It's a fraction of the cost of one on one coaching with me. And the price will be going up on May 1st. So I would encourage you to get in now because you will be able to keep the current low price for as long as you decide to stay in the membership. And you can cancel anytime, no questions asked. So once again, the link to join the community is in the description, and it's such an amazing resource that I am so proud to be offering. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Remember, you deserve to be believed, supported, and validated no matter what you have been through. And anyone who can't offer those basic things to you do not deserve the privilege of being part of your life. All right, take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.